You've been showing up, working hard, testing your setups, refining your strategy, doing everything that you know you're supposed to be doing. And yet, your trading results still don't reflect the level of effort that you're investing. And maybe you even find that the harder you work, the more tense, frustrated, and inconsistent you become. And if that sounds familiar, you may be running a mental program that almost every high achiever falls into. One that keeps you chasing progress instead of actually creating it. I'm Créde Sheehy-Kelly, and in this video, we're going to unpack what I call the high performer trap, the hidden identity pattern that causes even the most hardworking traders to plateau, and how to upgrade your mental operating system so that you can trade with ease, precision, and confidence instead. If you've been pushing hard but not seeing the results that you're truly capable of, then what I'm about to share is going to connect on a deep level. This video is for traders who already consider themselves to be high achievers. You've already experienced significant success in life. You got good grades in school, in college, you performed well in sports, you built a solid career full of promotions and recognition, all before you ever entered the trading arena. Your life experience to date has taught you that being driven, disciplined, and hardworking gets results. But unfortunately, the mindset that made you so successful in other areas of your life is going to work against you in trading. Because in trading, effort doesn't automatically equal consistent profitability or improvement. If it did, then every type A personality would be flocking to the markets to make their millions. Trading is one of the arenas where if you overattach to the identity of the high performer or the high achiever, you don't get rewarded and promoted, you get slapped back down into humility. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack today, why that happens and how to get out of it. The high performer trap is where you invest in a faulty mindset that costs you money. Specifically, where you are more focused on being a high performer than you are on doing the actions that create high performance. One mindset is ego-focused, focused on being perceived by other people and perceiving yourself as the high performer. The other mindset is task-focused, where you are simply focused on executing your trading plan to the best of your ability to make money. When you're prioritizing being a high performer, the ego-focused mindset, then you're attaching your self-worth to an identity. I'm the type of person who works hard, pushes through, outperforms. I don't settle for average. I'm destined for big goals because of who I am at my core. It sounds admirable on paper, maybe even in a corporate job interview. But if you're operating with that mindset, your trading becomes more about proving that identity than it does about executing your plan. Here's what that looks like when it plays out in your trading. You believe that the more hours you invest, the better you'll become. So you treat trading like a 9-to-5 job. You're glued to the screens all day. You're convinced that effort equals improvement. You create a highly detailed trading review process that takes you over an hour to complete. But then on most days, you skip it altogether because it's too overwhelming and exhausting. You endlessly tweak your trading strategy, thinking that if you can just make it perfect, you'll unlock consistent profitability. Somewhere along the line, you started equating complexity with sophistication, and sophistication with the potential to make money. You obsess over win rates and avoiding losses at all costs. You tell yourself, I have to achieve my goals in a very short time frame. And when you don't, you start getting frustrated and irritated with yourself. And then this shows up in your trading. In trying so hard to be the high performer, you're adding unnecessary complexity, stress, and pressure. And each of these factors has a direct negative impact on what actually matters, your execution. So it's not just that you're focused on the wrong goal. It's that this ego focus is actually blocking your progress to profitability. Here's the cold reality. Transformation in any domain can only happen through taking action. Everything else, mindset work, energy work, hypnosis, performance psychology, they can only work through one mechanism, by changing the actions that you take. And when you consistently take the right actions, that's when transformation occurs. And this is true whether your goal is to lose weight, build a business, play the piano, or make money in the markets. And yet, in trading, this truth often gets lost because obsession and effort start to feel like taking action. Even someone like Alex Hormozi, An entrepreneur who's built a net worth of over $200 million will tell you that taking actions creates results. And he's right. But what I think Alex and a lot of people underestimate is how hard it actually is for people to consistently take those effective actions. Because for most people, their subconscious is running on fear, self-worth issues, and emotional resistance. They know exactly what they should be doing, but they can't get themselves to do it, at least not consistently. That's why we do the inner work, not for motivational highs, to feel good, or for positive vibes, but to remove the psychological blocks that stand between knowing what to do and actually doing it. When your identity is built around being a high performer, then you're taking actions to try and prove that you are exceptional. But the market doesn't reward effort, intention, or identity. It only rewards execution. That's why the next evolution in your trading performance isn't about pushing harder. It's about upgrading the operating system that you're running on. Most high achievers are running on an internal operating system driven by fear. The fear of not being enough, the fear of scarcity, the fear of failure, or even worse, being average, the fear that if they stop pushing so hard, everything will collapse. When you're running this operating system, you're doing everything in your power to avoid negative outcomes. You're proving other people wrong. You're banking money to escape from scarcity. You're chasing big goals that validate that you're not just an average person. And this usually stems back to childhood, where this high achiever persona was a coping mechanism that earned you love, affection, approval, and validation. Don't get me wrong, this fear-driven motivation can take you far. It probably already has. In fact, it could even be the backbone of the success that you've experienced to date. But it can't take you the rest of the way to elite levels of success and fulfillment. Because the higher you go, the more that energy creates tension, burnout, and inconsistency. Just like the outdated Apple iPhone that can no longer handle the updates, the operating system becomes the limiting factor that halts your progress. The upgrade comes when you shift from being driven by fear to being driven by joy, from trying to earn worthiness through chasing goal after goal like you're climbing a ladder, to acting from a place of self-trust, ease, and satisfaction. The joy-based operating system is not a linear track where you keep striving to climb higher. It's an expansion of the energy of already enough. That's where flow lives. That's where consistent execution comes from. And that's where trading starts to feel effortless, not because it's easy, but because you're investing energy into the actions that create results. And if you want to go deeper into this, to rewire the subconscious programs that are driving your trading, this is exactly what I help traders to do inside my Go Deep to Level Up Your Trading program. This is an advanced mental conditioning system for experienced traders who are ready to close the gap between what they know they should be doing and what they actually do. I'll leave a link in the description box and the pinned comment. But for now, let's go back to talking about what this upgrade in operating system looks like in action. You start working smarter, not harder. You simplify, and you start using one guiding question to filter everything that you do. Does this help me execute my trading plan better? That becomes your internal compass. Should I listen to what stocks the other traders in the chat room are talking about? No. Does it help me execute my own trading plan better? No. Should I post my trading results on Twitter? Only if it's for genuine accountability, not if it's to create the identity or perception of a successful trader. Should I spend an hour in post-market analysis? Not unless that hour of analysis directly improves the execution of your plan tomorrow. When you start using this lens, everything gets simpler. You stop performing for your ego and you start acting for your results. But if you choose to make this transformation, you can potentially expect to feel some doubt or resistance at first. Here's the funny thing. For most high achievers, simplicity actually feels uncomfortable because deep down, you equate hard work with being valuable. So if something feels too easy, your subconscious dismisses it as not real work. Simplicity doesn't validate your identity. I see this sometimes in traders who take my Go Deep to Level Up Your Trading program. One of the key exercises in the program is to create a psychology-based daily tracking sheet where you're only tracking the absolute key metrics relevant to improving discipline and consistency. A lot of high achievers will unnecessarily complicate the system adding their own embellishments or additional rules to follow. This increases pressure and often leads to paralysis by analysis. Even though these traders have invested money in a solution that has been proven by other traders, they still don't fully trust yet that by doing that simple level of work, even if it's been strategically optimized to deliver results, can actually create the transformation in their own performance that they're looking for. Once they understand about the high performer trap, they find it easier to release themselves from the identity of the high performer, and they're able to trust the process. That's exactly the shift that you need to make. When you can accept ease and simplicity without feeling guilty or unworthy, that's when you can unlock consistent high performance. And that's when you start doing what high performers do: working strategically, resting intentionally, and acting with clarity. So here's the key message I want to leave you with. Releasing the identity of the high performer doesn't mean giving up your ambition. It means stopping the preoccupation with being the high performer so that you can free yourself up to take the actions that will lead to the realization of your goals. Because that's what mastery looks like. It's not a label or an identity. It's a process, one that you embody every day through your actions. When you release the need to prove that you're exceptional, that's when you actually become exceptional in your discipline, your consistency, and in your results. So drop the pressure. Upgrade your internal operating system, and get laser focused on executing your process, because that's where the next level in your trading begins. And if you're ready to take this work deeper, to rewire the subconscious patterns that keep you looping through over effort, self-pressure, and inconsistency, join me and go deep to level up your trading. You can get started today. And again, that link is in the pinned comment and the description box below. That's it for this video. Trade well, and I'll see you in the next one.